Okay, Stuart Watson, Mark Heath here at Portman Road. It's gone midnight, and what a night it was. Fabio Wardley, victorious in front of a crowd of close to 20,000. It didn't look like it was going to finish that way, did it? I know your voice is hoarse, Mark, but talk us through it if you can.
It was crazy, wasn't it, Stu? I keep saying that Fabio Wardley's life is a movie, and he's just released another blockbuster tonight, hasn't he? I mean, the event, the crowd was sensational, weren't they? The voice, the singing, the chanting, the atmosphere was spectacular. The walkout from Fab, everything was building nicely towards a glorious victory.
It was really atmospheric, wasn't it?
Was,
With the rain, the heavens open sort of mid-afternoon, and to see him come out amidst the fire cannons, but with the rain coming down, it's all added to it, didn't it?
Absolutely, it was something spectacular, something special. And we said, imagine walking out as Fabio Wardley in this kind of cauldron of noise and support, the emotion and energy he must have used. And then when the fight started, I think I gave him the first round, and then after that it was all Justis Huni. Huni boxed absolutely beautifully. We said before, he's a brilliant mover, fantastic jab, great left hand, and he found a home for that left hook countless times, didn't he, Stu? I mean, we were literally ringside going, ooh, as they landed. You could hear them thudding into Fab. And I'll be honest, mate, I mean, he needed a knockout, clearly. I had him down 8-1 going into the 10th round. And I didn't think he was going to do it. He looked, to me, Eddie Hearn followed us into the tunnel afterwards, and he said, I thought it was over. It was done. I can't believe it. He said, I can't believe what's just happened. It's mental, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah. He looked toast. I'm no boxing expert like yourself, and there would have been a lot of people in here tonight that may be sampling boxing for the first time as Ipswich fans, but I think anyone in there knew that it was, it was not looking good for Fabio Wardley tonight. Why that is, probably a combination of things. One, we have to give credit to Justis Huni, the Australian, his late replacement opponent, who has a much more experience, certainly has a big amateur career behind him. Fabio refers to himself sort of self-deprecatingly as white-collar Wardley, someone who's, skipped the amateur game and went straight to pro. So there's probably a little bit of that tonight. But also the occasion as well. Emotionally, the fight week itself, he's been doing something almost every day this week to build up to it. This has been, his dream to fight at Portman Road. The weight of pressure he must have felt on those sizable shoulders coming out tonight. That must have taken something from him.
It certainly looked that way, didn't it? Because he just couldn't find his groove, could he? Huni was just constantly beating him to the punch, and he started to look visibly frustrated in there, didn't he, Fab? You could see him sort of wilting a little bit and taking deep breaths and
talking to himself.
Body language, his body language was, he was clearly very frustrated in there, and he sat just there, didn't he? We spoke to him not too long ago, and he said he was really disappointed in terms of how he was fighting, and it looked for all the world, mate, like this dream was going to become a nightmare, didn't it? I mean, I think sitting ringside, I couldn't see a way he was going to turn it around. We knew he had the power, but he hadn't even looked like wobbling Huni, had he? And then, out of nowhere, literally, we said before the fight, Huni can be clipped by a big overhand right hand. That is Fabio's money punch. And I don't think he's maybe ever thrown a better punch than that. And he said, sitting here, my hand still hurts. So that's a sign of just how good it was.
You called it.
Shall we? Yeah, all right, I did get that right, didn't I? That's exactly what I predicted, Stu. But yeah, Huni walked in, and Fab just slipped the jab, I think it was, and just cracked him right on the jaw with the right hand. Huni went down, legs kind of went from underneath him, and you could see straight away, sitting ringside, I said, that's it. You could see straight away that Huni was gone. Valiantly climbed to one knee and did get back to his feet, but the ref waved it off, and just, it's crazy, Stu. This should not be happening. Fabio Wardley should not be doing this. He should not be able to do that on this stage against that kind of calibre of opponent. It is a movie. I don't know where we're going to end with Fabio Wardley. I mean, Frank Warren said it was like Deontay Wilder, and that is a Deontay Wilder kind of finish. Wilder, we've seen him before get outboxed every minute of every round, and then he pulls out the big right hand, and that's exactly what Fabio Wardley's done.
We'll see how far this takes him, really. There's some boxing limitations there because of the route that he's taken. But he and his team talk about, while you've got that in your locker, that finishing punch that can come at any
It's the
moment.
equaliser.
How far can it take him?
It's the equaliser. He has touch of death power. You don't see this very often in fight sports. Deontay Wilder is probably the most recent example. Fabio Wardley, if he hits someone, they go. No matter what the period of, in the fight, as I say, he can lose every single minute, every second of every round, and he's still dangerous because he's got that power. I didn't think he was going to be able to pull it out tonight, but he's done it again. The guy's got unbelievable heart. It's a ridiculous story, and it's an absolute privilege to be lucky enough to kind of follow his story from the start and look where it's brought us now. We're sitting here at Portman Road, Frank Warren sitting here. Even Frank Warren was, I think, a little bit staggered. I asked him, where does it rank? And he said, it's got to be up there in terms of dramatic ends to a fight. And he's guy's been involved in boxing for 40 odd years.
Yeah. All we needed for the pure Rocky storyline tonight, and I'm glad this didn't happen, was Mrs. Wardley was front row ringside, heavily pregnant, due to give birth in the next few days. But bar from being past his child into the ring at the end of that, would have capped it off as kind of movie storyline type stuff. But where do we go from here then? We've got the fight between Usyk and Dubois,
that's
coming up.
That's in July.
So is he in line for that, or given what we've seen tonight, would it be foolish to be sort of pushing Fabio towards that?
He sparred with both guys. Usyk particularly spent a lot of time sparring. Usyk was so impressed with him. He's had him in as sparring partner a lot. Dubois he sparred with as well. I know Rob Hodgins, speaking to him, Fab's coach, says him and Daniel would be a good fight. But it depends who wins this fight in July. If Usyk wins, he's got nothing else to prove. Does he retire? Who knows? And then what happens with the belts? If Dubois wins, there'll probably be a third fight. But Fabio Wardley right now is the WBA interim world heavyweight champion. So that puts him in line for a shot at some point. Whether or not that will be against the likes of Dubois and Usyk, I don't know. I mean, it seems to feel to me like that might take a little bit too long. Frank Warren, obviously, pleased that he's kind of manoeuvred him into this position. It will be very interesting to see where they go next with him, though. Obviously, he's now got to have a bit of time off. He's going to be a dad. So the next kind of opponent is going to be interesting in terms of where they pitch it. Because he can't go backwards. He needs to go forwards again. So who knows? I mean, as I say, the sky's the limit. Every single time we see Fabio Wardley fight, people say he's going to get found out. He's going to get found out. And every single time he pulls it out of the bag. He's beating guys he has no right to beat.
Just to remind people, this is proper Ipswich boy, ex-Chantry High School pupil.
Yeah.
Didn't lace up some gloves till the age of 22 when he's working in recruitment.
Yeah.
He said tonight, Justis Huni's been boxing since the age of 8.
Yeah.
I've only been boxing 8 years.
Yeah. It's mad.
And here he is.
It is mad. It shouldn't happen. It's crazy, honestly. It's just, he's someone that we should be so proud of in Suffolk. And genuinely, when you look at stories in sport, he is one of the best ones around in any sport right now. He's just doing stuff that is unprecedented. What he's done here tonight, incredible. Where he goes next, he could, who's to say he can't win a world title? Who's to say we can't have a guy who started off in white collar, fighting bin men from Dorset, and then turned pro and knocked everyone out and wins a world title? It's staggering, honestly. I don't know what to say. What did you make of it, Stu?
I loved it. Yeah, it's my first experience of something like that. I thought the whole event went off brilliantly, despite the rain. I thought the undercard was great as well. We had some local success there with Gideon Jonas as a serving army soldier. We've been talking about good stories. This is a guy who's a serving paratrooper who jumps out of aeroplanes. A couple of weeks ago, he parachuted into Sweden. He fought only 3 weeks ago in his last fight and took this late notice. He did brilliantly. He got a draw
against an 18-1 opponent, a guy that he was not expected to do anything against. He did really well, Gideon, and that, again, his team, I think, felt he did enough to win. As the away fighter, it's always going to be tough to get a decision against a guy who's 18-1, but that again has elevated his career. Where does he go next? Because people are going to look at that and say that is a really impressive performance. Jack Williams looked absolute mustard, didn't he? Looked so good in that black and purple, fighting in memory of his mum. You spoke to him afterwards. That was superb. And then obviously Lewis Richardson, the Colchester Olympic bronze medalist, looked sparkling in white, lovely mover, just eased his way to a points decision. So fantastic performances from the local guys on the undercard. And as I say, just a movie-esque ending to another Fabio Wardley fight.
Close to 20,000 people here at Portman Road tonight. I think A few drinks were sold in the fan zone tonight. Everyone seemed to enjoy themselves, and I think there'll be certainly an appetite for this to happen again. Already, Frank Warren's talking about bringing boxing back to Ipswich, and it'll be good to see. So
we'll be there, won't we?
We will be there.
I can't wait, honestly.
I think you can tell from our excited tones. We enjoyed tonight. Fabio Wardley, the power puncher, the Suffolk punch, pulled it out of nowhere.
Yes.
10th round victory. Yeah, we'll be there for the next one. Hope you enjoyed it.